that were, the centralized of what the whole event was about. And then we'll get into what Knowledge 26 was really about underneath the keynote headlines and what it means by industry, and more importantly, where one should actually begin. And then obviously we'll close with your action plan, and then we'll take a certain Q&A that people might have.
भाई आपका एजेंडा अलग है क्या?
मतलब इन्हें जो राइटअप दिया था मैं उस राइटअप को रेफर करके बोल रहा हूँ.
अच्छा, फिर ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, कंटिन्यू करो.
ना हाँ. सो अब वैसे आपका ही है अब, वाई द इवेंट मैटर्ड वाला है.
वो तो लाके छोड़
Slides.
दो. So, if you talk about why Knowledge 2026 mattered, so it's the biggest event from ServiceNow, and ServiceNow being the leader in the ITSM solution, and an enterprise that a solution that almost every enterprise uses. So all the companies, all the enterprises needs to look at what they have in the stock for AI governance and everything, because everybody is building with AI, everybody is doing something with AI, but they are the ones who are actually leading that front. I feel that, and I really feel that. Why? Because they are not only just leading with, we have AI in this, we have AI in that. They are leading with, we have AI that you can govern, that you can actually check whether it's delivering output for you or not. So that is exactly what it was about. The main highlight that was highlighted was, enterprises have deployed AI. Now they are terrified of what it might do for you, even you did not authorize for it. So that's one thing. And the second thing was, even the Amit Zaveri as well, the chief product officer and CEO said, like, only 19% businesses are seeing the results from AI. And we are seeing from this, not from him only, we are seeing this across various reports.
Right.
And then, there was this, the last piece, which was, on all of this, there is a 20%, drawdown in the maturity year over year. So even if we are spending this much amount of money into AI, the maturity is not growing as it should be. In fact, in some of the cases, it's going down as well. So those were some of the highlights. Now,
I think even here you mentioned that AI is thrown across so loosely now. It actually kind of scares customers of what it actually is. I think even when we spoke to one of our customers, they mentioned that everybody's just mentioning AI this, AI that. But what does it actually bring to them in terms of either business operations, use cases, or bottom line is something that we really need to break down and then provide value to our clients. So that's definitely there. Okay, so moving on, there were major announcements that were made during the event, right? 3 days of keynotes, a full creator con, and a data analytics session, right? It's a lot of information for enterprises to process. So if you had to connect all of it into, let's say, one narrative and break it down for our viewers or listeners, what would you say there?
so the day ones, like let's try to break it down day by day itself only, because that's how I remember.
Right.
Since so the day one was, ServiceNow introduced like something called as experience layer. They introduced, like, they are launching Auto. It's a place. It's a, I would say, a front door for you using all the AI, all the workflows within the enterprise from just one place itself only. Then they came, then they, announced Action Fabric. Action Fabric is simply ServiceNow saying the workflows that you have built in ServiceNow are not only for ServiceNow agents to call. You can connect your other agents as well. You might want to have Salesforce, or you might want to have Snowflake, or you might want to have your proprietary agent calling those workflows that you have built. And now you have that capability with MCP via Action Fabric. Right. Then we have AI Control Tower expanded. This was hugely anticipated and definitely needed. So they have expanded on what all you can govern, what all you can regulate, and how you can keep track of whether you are getting value from it or not, things like that. So that is something that they did. Apart from that, they did launch, autonomous workforce. So dedicated agents for specific use cases of specific, departments and industries. We have one autonomous workforce agent for IT, one for HR. They are doing that dedicated work, developed and curated by ServiceNow itself only for their platform. And that is something really great. People will start seeing some great results, I would say, not some, but great results with that. And then they announced Project Arc. This was in collaboration with Jensen Huang's NVIDIA, where they simply, said, like, businesses are not only going to be feel terrified. Now they're not going to feel terrified that AI will be taking actions on behalf of them. So they have come up with a way where they can provide a terminal, a control terminal where an agent can take actions, but via the defined guidelines and governance that is something that you have defined in your AI control tower. And then we have day two, which was, like how they have moved from patchworks to agentic businesses. So they have come up with something that's called as four architecture pillars, which is very, I would say common sense itself. Only somebody had to do it. They were the ones who did it like this, and which is, sense, decide, act, secure. So, as the name suggests,
Right.
they are automatically sensing why it's happening, what's happening, why it's happening, what I need to do. They are identifying that, and they actually act on it. And then they are securing whatever the actions that are happening, whatever the decisions that we are taking. Are we allowed to do that? Are we within the range? Are we within the workflows or the guidelines that has been set by us? And if yes, we need to do all of that, and we need to make sure we are tracking of all of that data. So that is something that they
So
are
they're
doing.
trying to